let me know if you guys see it on the dashboard. You guys should have your YouTube live dashboard all ready to go up there. You should see that coming up in a couple seconds.
Yeah, I got it here. Live. Well, it says Spider-Man: Homecoming live review. So.
That shouldn't say that. Hold on. It shouldn't say that. Hold on a second. Come on.
Well, let me refresh it and see what happens.
Yeah.
Okay, it's.
It should say it now. It has to say it now because I know I changed it. It still says Spider-Man: Homecoming. That doesn't make any sense. On my side, it says She-Venom and all that stuff there.
Okay, well, I'm not getting it right now.
Okay, I'm gonna bring
It's She-Venom, Han Solo, League's New Warriors casting, film buffet. That's the live.
That was ridiculous. Okay, but yeah, now it's working now. Let me double check. Let me just do a refresh on the page. Hopefully, it didn't change anything. Wait a minute. There we go. Okay, so you see that? It's there now. Should be.
Yeah, it's there.
All right, sweet. Okay, so I don't know if you want to do an intro, Tom, or...
You're coming in real quiet on the live side. Something is up with your mic.
Okay, let me do this real quick. Hold on. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now, guys?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yep, can hear you.
I'm just waiting to listen to it for the live.
Yeah, there's like a 10-second delay.
Yeah, we can hear you. So, whenever we're ready.
So the levels are better now, you're saying?
Yes, I just had to wait and listen to it on the live thing to make sure you were there.
Okay, all right.
But yeah, everybody make sure your live video's paused once we get going here, otherwise it'll go off in the background.
Please do not do that. That would not be good. Okay, so I already put a link on Midnight's Edge that we're live. I have to ask Andre to make me one of the moderators on there so I can be able to pin stuff. But then that's no big deal. Okay, so whenever you're ready, Tom, we can go live and I can segue over.
Welcome to the Film Buffet Podcast Live. My name is Tom, your resident film buff. With me, as always, is Beyond a Blizz.
How's it going, guys?
Robb Gallo.
What up?
And Robb has a special guest. He brought a friend to school today. Want to introduce your friend?
He's a guy I've known for quite a while now. Fellow stand-up comedian, former member of the Reality Wasted podcast, Mr. Jake Bentley.
Appreciate you guys having me today.
Welcome to the show, Jake.
Thank you.
So, without further ado, why don't we turn the show over to Robb? Oh. Somebody saying something?
No.
I think something just happened there. I don't know. For a second there, I thought she may have disappeared into another dimension, Tom, but it sounded like something happened on your end. Is everything okay?
I'm here.
Okay, great. Okay. All right.
Someone being murdered on the other line.
Someone's getting murdered. Okay, let's segue.
What a way to start our first live show. Yeah, good God.
Okay, well, let's see if we can segue into the topics today.
So the box office, yeah.
Yeah, I'll just keep the loop going so we can just keep talking about the box office since we're going to be discussing that right now. Yes, so Tom, as you were saying, we can get into that right now. I think one of the things you wanted to talk about, Tom, specifically was the whole, the big elephant in the room, or the big spider in the room, I should say, is the fact that Spider-Man Homecoming did exponentially well at the box office today.
Pretty close to my estimates. Yeah, I must say. Not quite as high, but a lot higher than other people thought. So I got to give myself a little bit of, credit on that one. Yeah, I wish it would have done a little bit better. It deserves it. I have a feeling it's going to have long legs like a spider going forward because the word of mouth is going to carry it very well. I've only heard only a very few negative reviews to the film, so I know all of us here liked it, except for I'm not sure if Jake got to see it yet.
Oh yeah, no, I saw it. I'm prepared. Did my homework.
Right. So what did you think of the film, Jake, since we didn't get you on the prior podcast?
I thought it was done really well. I love that they were able to tell the story of Spider-Man from the beginning without going through another origin story. I get it. The kid got bit by a spider. We all know it. I thought they did a really excellent job of giving us this. This is a brand new superhero without hammering in that origin again. I know a lot of people are harping on the diversity casting. It wasn't so bad for me that it ruined anything. Although I do agree with Robb's take that Flash was just terrible.
Oh yeah,
people really seem to hate Flash. I actually wasn't too angry at him.
I'm not, but yeah.
My problem was he's supposed to be Peter's bully, but in a fight, my money's on Ned. When the fat Samoan kid, the fat dorky Samoan kid who plays with Legos, when my money's on that kid, you're not that great a bully.
Well, did you listen to the round table? Did you agree with Beyond and my theory that he's actually gay for Peter?
Now that was my thing. Yes, like I said,
I agreed with you because I was going to say it too. Thing. But yeah,
because I'm glad you mentioned that too. Because I swear to God, like I don't know what's tipping me off. There is certain signs. I know we're kind of getting off topic a little bit. I want to make this brief.
Oh yeah, but no, I did see it right away.
Right, basically, what led me off was the fact that he seems to almost have an obsession with Peter. Like, I mean, there's a certain way people bully people. I get it. You're harassing someone, but the way he would go about doing it felt like he subtly had an obsession with him or something like that. And the fact that he will always call him Penis Parker, I don't know. And the fact that I looked at the leaked script that I know, well, the supposed leaked script that Rob did a narration for our Midnight's Edge video, you can find that on our channel, where one of the parts of the leaked script was saying how when he met Spider-Man, he almost like he had a crush on him almost. I mean, it was kind of a joke, but, you never know. 2017, you don't know. But so that's what tipped me off for it. Yeah. That's what made me suspicious. And I'll be more than curious because I think there was like one gay character they had in that movie. It was a side character. But
sounds like you think Flash is more than curious.
Apparently so.
So anyway, back to your saying.
I'm sorry to cut you off there. Beyond,
no,
keep
go
going.
Ahead, go right ahead. Yeah.
No. But like I said, I don't have anything more to say on it. So, you can like I said, you can check out my review at my channel, Robot Shlomo. I mean, I go into a pretty thorough review. That's all I have to say on the matter. So
yeah, we want to avoid any more spoilers and stuff like that. So yeah, go ahead on your just overall feelings, Jake. Sorry.
So we shouldn't go into spoilers. So I shouldn't talk about how Vulture was secretly an albino midget.
No, that's got to stay off the table.
Okay.
And if you guys heard that out there, you need to erase your memories now if you haven't seen the film, and don't tell anybody else.
I got the Men in Black device ready. Whoosh. Look here.
Neuralizer.
Here. Yeah.
All in all, I thought it was a really good movie. Spider-Man's one of those things. He's such a fan favorite, and he's such kind of the iconic Marvel guy. It's kind of been lost in the past couple of years since the Marvel Cinematic Universe started. But Spider-Man is historically he is to Marvel what Superman is to DC. Yeah, I think as long as you do the character decently and you do it justice, it's going to be a hit. And I think that's what this movie was.
All right, so then the rest of the box office looked as though Pirates finally dropped off. They are out of the top 10, and they look like they've come across with about 168 million, so they'll probably finish off in that 170-75 range. The Beguiled popped on the top 10. That's, I guess, the first Oscar bait of the year. That did very well with only under 1,000 theaters. It did pretty well. 47 meters is that's been doing very lackluster. It hasn't even reached 40 million yet. The Big Sick, I've never even really heard much about that, but it's doing okay, and it's getting a lot of buzz considering it's only in 326 theaters, so that's one I'm going to have to take a look at and check out. Otherwise, The House looked like it kind of was DOA. Hasn't even reached that 20 million mark. Cars 3 is doing respectable. It's probably going to reach 150 million stateside before it's said and done. Transformers, well, we've all talked about that one. That one's not doing the greatest. It's just made under 120 million stateside, and I don't see it doing too much more than that. It might hit that 130 mark. Wonder Woman doing so well, doing very, very well. It has crossed 350 into 368 million for the weekend, and it will probably cross that 400 million mark by the time it's said and done. Baby Driver was the big surprise of the year so far. It is a sleeper hit of the summer for sure. It's made over 57 million domestically and did really respectable for the weekend with 13 million. I got a chance to see it. It's a great film. Check out my review if you haven't yet. Despicable Me 3, of course, is doing just as well as everybody had anticipated or figured it would. It's about to cross that 150 million mark this week. It did 33 for the weekend. And of course, the movie we all talked about, 117 million for Spider-Man Homecoming. So, what do you guys think other than that?
Really no surprises. I mean,
everything made sense pretty much.
Spider-Man was really kind of the only surprise, doing about 17 million more than what everybody kind of anticipated.
I really actually saw that coming, actually. I don't know about you other guys on here.
All the estimates were at 100 or so until just before it opened, and then they were all calling between 110 and 120. I seen some that were going as high as 130 and 140, but
oh, okay.
Well,
it's pretty accurate.
So much for franchise fatigue, So
right. And like I said, I think it's going to do much better the second. I don't think it's going to have a big drop off. I think the drop off maybe would be 50-55%. If it hits below 60%, I'd be surprised, because I think that the word of mouth is going to carry this through the rest of the summer.
Oh, yeah,
what do you guys think?
I think this is the film of the summer, to be honest.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
it's not to compete with it.
Yeah. Well, Planet of the Apes is supposed to be coming this week or next week?
This week, and I do plan on seeing it Wednesday in an early showing, so I will have my review up as soon as possible. But they're estimating that Apes is not going to do as well as the last one, which it's the third film in the series, and the second film did much, much better than the first film. So the fact that there's probably going to be a little bit of drop off isn't a surprise.
Yeah. Well, that's Woody Harrelson and Killer Monkeys. I mean, what more could you want, really?
It could do real well. I hope it does, because I'm looking forward to the film. But I mean, what do you see for the drop off on Spider-Man then?
I think it's gonna be below. I think it might be maybe about 45% drop off. If that's being generous, maybe 45 to 55, like you said. So I think it's gonna. But I think the momentum is going to carry it. Okay, that's what I said. We got to say about that. So
right,
I'm of the thinking that Spider-Man's going to still keep going strong. I don't know exactly what percentage that's going to drop off, but I think it's going to stay strong. And I agree, we're probably not going to see much of a drop next week.
Did you have anything else to add beyond to that?
Well, no, but pretty much I think it's going to stay strong. I think this is going to be the film of the summer, even more so than what Wonder Woman did. I think it's going to possibly has a chance to at least get close to, if not make $1 billion. I mean, it's not going to make 1.5 billion, but it may make 1 billion, or at least again close to it, maybe in the 900 range.
I think it'll hit $1 billion at least.
Yeah, it just has so much potential, so much legs and whatever, and I'll be glad for it because it deserves it, and it's really gonna validate the fact that you should really continue this deal, Sony, and stop being stupid and stop adding more characters to the Venom movie, which of course we'll get to in a minute.
Well, that's a perfect segue, actually.
Oh, yes, it is. Okay, so I'm just gonna go over it. It's gonna be a little bit discombobulated for those who are looking here because this is the first time we're gonna be doing this.
Be gentle with us.
Yeah, and then we're gonna have some images come up, discuss, in relation to the topics we're discussing. But
Rob, why don't you segue into this here? This new news coming out about Venom.
Yeah, it's just broken today within the last few hours. There is a rumor floating around that the character of Anne Wang, otherwise known as She-Venom, is going to be introduced in the Venom movie that Sony is planning. And it's just like Sony, really. It really is. They can't just bask in this success that they've just had, and just kind of let the seed grow and germinate and blossom. They have to shoot themselves in the foot. So I want to know. I'm feeling this is an Amy Pascal decision here, or Tom. Well, actually, it might be a Tom Rothman decision here.
I think more Amy Pascal. I think Beyond brought that up before the show too. I think that you're also right on that. That it feels like a very.
feels like we have the females in the movie because of diversity.
Wait a minute. Are we fucking talking about Ghostbusters again, or what the fuck is this shit? That's what I want to know, because last time she pulled this shit, it was a female Slimer in Ghostbusters. I mean, come on.
Girl power.
I'll take the optimist route on this. When I hear that, what I imagine is she'll be introduced in the movie like, I don't want to get into too many spoilers, but there were villains that were shown in the Spider-Man movie, but they were shown in their civilian guise. I kind of hear that, and I hear maybe the same thing, that character is going to be in there. Maybe we're not going to be jumping straight to the She-Venom, but there'll be maybe that little wink and a nod, kind of testing the waters before they actually move along those lines.
Right, I think what Jake's talking about is there was some rumors that certain characters from Spider-Man Homecoming might show up in this adjunct universe, as drunk Amy Pascal put it, allegedly. Drunk.
I'm so hoping they don't do that, because here's the thing. I don't want this Spider-Man Homecoming universe to get anywhere near, because it's so great. We all unanimously agree this movie was fantastic. Did a fantastic job. I don't want it anywhere near this catastrophe, because I think pretty much most of us here know this Venom movie is going to be a disaster. I think it's going to be a discombobulated mess. I think it's a cash grab decision. Sony doesn't know what they're doing, and they're going to get their butts kicked. But it's going to be fun to watch the fireworks. I should say, watch the explosion and the train wreck and every other way you want to personify it. It is what it is, and I'm just like, okay, Sony, so you want to be arrogant,
this
and greedy
is
and all that.
A train that was hit by a plane that ran off a bridge into a village of orphans. That's what this is.
That sounds like a fun Saturday night.
This isn't just a train wreck. This is beyond a train wreck.
Oh, yes, it is. I can attest to that. It's in my name. It's beyond train wreck, of course. There's nothing more to say than that, really. I mean, if you look
Did Jake have anything to add to that? Or?
You should go, Jake, too, if you wanted to say anything.
No, like I said, I'm just kind of holding out optimism that maybe that's just going to be kind of a plant for future things. Not we're going to make Venom a chick. Maybe that's just me being.
Let's be clear. You know that Tom Hardy is actually playing Eddie Brock, aka Venom. But what they're saying is they're also going to introduce another female character who will have the same powers, is what I'm assuming.
Yeah, see, I hear is just like I said, I don't want to spoil some of the other characters who came in and were shown in Spider-Man Homecoming, but there was the crew with with Adrian Toomes, who are Spider-Man villains, without getting into who is who and who's in the movie. Right. But they didn't take up the mantle of those villains in this movie. I'm thinking that hopefully they're not introducing Venom and She-Venom in this movie, but this character who in the comics was She-Venom will have an appearance in the movie as her non-superhero character.
So anybody who hasn't seen the movie, cover yours for a second. Are you saying that you think she's already been in the Homecoming movie? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying since people who are covering their ears, like Mac Gargan, for example. Mac Gargan was in the movie, but he wasn't Scorpion.
Gotcha. Well, he kind of was, but yeah, we kind of get the vibe that he's going to be in the next film. But right, I get what you're saying there. Okay, spoilers done.
Okay, turn the sound back on, kids.
Rob, did you have anything else to add to that?
No, just I don't know. Just like I said, the way the news broke was like I was just like, what now? So
I know, I see you say it. Or for fuck's sake, I think was what you said. Just like, yeah, that's exactly how I feel too. It's like, for fuck's sake, what the hell, guys? It's bad enough that you're trying to do this without Spider-Man. Now you're gonna do this shit too. This is the first I've ever heard that there was an actual female Venom in the universe. I got to be honest about that. So it's like, I can see most average people just scratching their head and being like, what? I mean, I guess unless they could do something real sexy with her, I guess, I don't know. But that picture you guys showed me of her kissing Spider-Man, it looked like he was going to get some kind of STD from that shit. I don't know.
Possibly.
I don't know. And like I said, just trying to
Someone should probably send me that picture for science.
Science, right. Science.
Okay, so I guess just to put a cap on the whole Venom thing, this thing looks like a train wreck from the start. And to finish what I was going to say before is I just don't understand trying to do this outside of the MCU and without Spider-Man. I don't care how adjacent, adjunct, affunct, or whatever the fuck it is that Amy wants to try and pretend it is. It isn't. It isn't, Amy. It isn't. Kevin straight up said, you know what? Fuck you. It's not part of the MCU. We don't want any part of your bullshit garbage. Don't bring it in this house. You know what I'm saying? It's like, don't even come near us with that shit you're trying to pull. And that's exactly what she's been trying to do since day one. We've already kind of established that, and I don't care. Yes, it's speculatory, but she sat right there and said, oh, our universe is adjunct to this and blah, 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 blah. I hope to God in
adjunct to it, and we're gonna
break that glass ceiling. I just... My precious Spider-Man. That's what it is. She's getting to that point. The precious. You know, it's like, fuck. She can't let it go.
From us.
Master
loves us.
We can't let it go, precious. No.
Tricksy fight he is. Trixie he is. Won't let me have the precious.
I hope in 2019 that her deal is up. I hope they just be like, see you, Amy. Fuck off, Amy.
Well, this homecoming movie really is her retirement fund. If you think about it, I mean, she's 59. I think she's 58, 59 years old, and she's got to be looking at the door by now. I mean, so this pretty much is gonna fund her retirement.
Holy shit, that is so. Fucking Neil, he said in the message board that is Pascal Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, that's keep pretty. I want to get Spider. No, hold on, no. I can't do the voice.
Spider-Man, you and me, both alike.
Yeah. On a side note, I really love William Dafoe as the Green Goblin.
Oh, he was fantastic.
Yeah, he was so over the top, and it was so perfect. So I think we're gonna segue. Let me sprinkle the other picture we got to talk about here. The whole Han Solo thing. I got a picture up there on the leaked footage. One of the leaked stills that came out. We don't want to have the actual footage that got leaked just because of copyright. I'm just afraid Lucasfilm is gonna rain all terror upon us.
Yeah, they did on our last episode already. We're still disputing that one out over the Star Wars detour. So yeah, no more. We don't want to fight with Lucasfilm.
Yeah, let's just not. I don't want to deal with that. You know how Disney can be. The mouse come in. You ever seen that episode of South Park with the just Jonas Brothers episode way back in the day?
Oh yeah,
I recall. Yeah,
the ones when he comes and just beats them all up. That's gonna be us if we keep using that Star Wars footage from Disney. But anyway, so now that we do have at least a few more images of context, like the one right here of I forgot what you call these specific vehicles. I know they're from Star Wars, but they're like the
probably just a land speeder.
Land speeder, that's it. So basically, seeing what is Alden Ehrenreich on a land speeder, getting ready to drive off to do whatever he's doing. We don't know the context of the scene as well. At all, we just know that he's in a land speeder. So I wanted to know, what do you guys think about this? What are your thoughts on the Han Solo movie? Do these images get you more excited? Do they make you more worried? Like I kind of feel about it because I don't really like the way he looks as Han Solo. He doesn't look anything like Han Solo, but that's besides the point. So I think I'll start with you, Tom, and you can tell me what you think about the whole.
I wish the guys from Red Letter Media were listening because it's like, I see something I know. It's like, oh God, come on. What? Why does all this shit? This Han Solo movie to me has come to a point where I wish they just pull the fucking plug and use the sets and all the other shit for a TV show or something. It's just getting preposterous. And I know it has very little to do with what's on the picture. I'm just getting to the point where, is this even going to work? I mean, do we have to have a land speeder in it? Do we have to have all this other crap that's just because it's Star Wars? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I mean,
I have the other image up there now too, where you're seeing what looks like to be a young Princess Leia, maybe, which is weird because they never met any time before the New Hope. So that also raises some questions of what's going on here.
I don't think that's Leia.
Okay, it looks like Leia. It looks like a young Leia.
It might be a dignitary of some type, maybe, perhaps, but if that's Leia, then they've really lost it.
I mean, let me see if I can check here real quick. Leaked Han Solo, because one person. Okay, so I'm looking at the site right here. I think TMZ was one of the first people to break it.
That's what it looks like.
Let me take a look here. Nothing about Leia has shown up.
Okay, so let's just assume it's not, because
I kind of some diplomat, perhaps.
I mean, I guess this set doesn't look too bad, but it looks just like another cantina. So is that what we're going to get? Is just a lot of set pieces? Like I was saying before, I wish the guys from Red Letter Media were here, because it was like, I know that Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars. It's like, does it have to always be something that we know already? Isn't part of Han Solo's story that he's from? I think like Rob brought it up that. The main history they go with now until this retcons it anyway is that he was an Imperial. He was in the Imperial Army.
He was an officer in the Imperial Navy. Yeah,
and then it had something to do with them killing off Wookiees, and then he ends up saving Chewie's life, and so on and so forth. And
that sounds kind of dumb. I'm not gonna lie. I know we mentioned that before in a previous podcast a couple of weeks ago, but the idea of him it takes away from it. He should be. The hilarious thing about it is, I'll give you an example. It's kind of a weird example, but it'll make sense the more I talk about it. If you guys remember the movie The Dark Knight, and you have the Joker, crazy and zany and as bombastic as he was, but he was one of the best supervillain characters of all time, one of the best supporting characters of all time. One of the things I loved about him is how he was able to intimidate the people he went after or the people he was interacting with, where his backstory of how he became a deranged maniac would always change. It would never be the same thing. And it would be really funny to me. There would kind of be like a running gag of, what's Han Solo's backstory? You'll never get to find out what it really is. He'll never tell you, because that's the beauty of Han Solo. You project whatever you want into him. When you give him a backstory, you're taking away from the character, I feel. See, they think they're adding to the character, but feel like you're taking away from what the character is, and he's a space pirate.
Right, we touched on that prior, too, where we said they're taking away the mystery, but how do you feel about this, Jake?
So, I actually haven't seen any of these things before. I do agree with the sentiment that kind of telling the story and defining that Han Solo takes away some of his mystique. I personally will be happy if the movie is not just a giant thing to explain how Han couldn't have possibly shot first, and knowing Lucasfilm.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
That's it right there. They really got to explain that.
Knowing Lucasfilm, I mean, Rogue One was fantastic. I loved Rogue One. I thought it was a great movie. I thought it had great characters, much better characters than the Star Wars universe has created in the last 30 years, and unfortunately they killed them all off in the end. Sorry, spoiler alert for Rogue One.
Well, we all kind of figured that was going to happen, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So, I mean, that has kind of given me some hope for these... the Star Wars movies that aren't in the traditional
continuity.
Yes, continuity. But yeah, I'm kind of going in with reserved. I'm going in reserved.
Rob?
Well, like one of the things about that backstory, that was actually, now if I remember this correctly, that was actually, I think it was one that was created by Kenner Toys to go along with the action figure, because I remember you used to turn over the box of the action figure and it would have a brief description.
Like G.I. Joe and all them.
Yeah. It would have the file cards or whatever it would be, so you
their
hang
little
out
backstory.
Yeah. I think if I remember correctly, that was the backstory on that.
The same person who wrote that wrote that Finn was Lando Calrissian's son on that puzzle too, or
Probably. But one of the ones they did get right, I don't know if it's just by coincidence, was when at the end of episode 3 when Obi-Wan and defeats Darth Vader / Anakin, and he falls into a volcano. That was I don't know if that was just by coincidence or if they deliberately, or Lucas said, no, you have to use this. And that story it was in the Return of the Jedi novel, I think, but go ahead. Yeah. Oh, it was in the novelization? I think so, yeah. Okay, well then that's sort of semi-official. If anybody knows out there in the chat, let us know, but I'm thinking so. Okay. But yeah, like I said, it takes away the mystique of Han Solo, and I got a feeling it's just going to be all connected dots again, kind of like Rogue One was a lot of connected dots. For me, yeah, Rogue One was still a good film, but you're just waiting to get to the next Easter egg. And I really think that's what this Han Solo movie is going to be. You're just counting down to the next Easter egg. 3, 2, 1, ding, 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 ding. Oh, he gets the Millennium Falcon. 3, 2, 1, ding, 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 ding. Oh, he meets Lando Calrissian.
There's that
and
familiar
then Chewie, and then
there's this familiar thing you already know. It's like,
exactly.
It's one of the things I really hate. I think there's another guy.
Jabba's supposed to be in it too.
Exactly. Oh yeah. Okay.
So then fucking Boba Fett's gonna be in it, and probably Greedo.
They might as well just put Luke Skywalker in there and just retcon it. And
how much you want to bet Greedo's the main villain?
Like they're doing this with Han Solo. They have plenty of other characters. What the fuck is Dash Rendar doing? He's sitting at home eating Cheetos in a beanbag chair. Let's do a Dash Rendar movie. That way you don't fuck up the continuity.
I want a Kid Fisto movie, actually.
We want a red. That one guy that nobody gets to see because he's like, oh, we got enough pilots. Go sit over there, Red 8. We don't need you. That guy. What's he doing? Oh, he's eating a sandwich now.
He's eating a sandwich or whatever those people eat in whatever year this Star Wars trilogy takes place or whatever, or I should say the Star Wars universe. Anyway, one thing I will add again that I was thinking about too is I will say, I know I mentioned this before, but I want to reiterate this again. I really think that this movie is either going to be a surprise success, but I'm leaning more towards I really think this movie is going to be I think it's going to be a disaster. I think it's going to be a disaster of just like it's going to have two different tones. You're going to have the Ron Howard tone, which is more traditional filmmaking, which is why they got him on. Then you're going to have mixed with this zany thing, hip new trendy movie they wanted to do for the new generation, and it's just not. I don't think it's going to mesh together well. I think it's either they're going to have to do the whole movie again from scratch, or they're
it's going to feel like the Lego Movie meets Willow.
Right, and they're going to they're looking at the dailies and they're like, this isn't coming together. This is not looking good at all. This is like some kind of like they're saying it's going to be all righty then. The
everything Ace Ventura, is awesome.
Yeah, right. Or the whole thing with the Lego Movie where everything's all zany, which worked again in context.
Yeah, I forgot about the whole Ace Ventura thing too. Yeah,
in context, it works. Phil Lord and Chris Miller were great for the Lego Movie. They were great for the Jump Street movies. But for Han Solo, you need a certain tone for that. And again, and this one really gets me. We'll never know for sure, but I really want to know why Kathleen Kennedy didn't say, this isn't working, let's stop this right now, months ago. Like, why did she wait till...
Like, well, I was going to say, she kind of did, but... I mean, I guess do we actually know when cameras actually started rolling, or are we talking from pre-production on?
I think it was in January, the last time I checked.
Okay.
Let me do a trick at Han Solo.
Well, because at the same time, they probably had a summer break put in, and that's where the break came in here, where we found out about this news.
It started in February.
So chances...
Sorry to interrupt you, but it started in February 21st. That's
okay, so yeah, they were probably only filming for like a month and a half or so when shit finally came down, if that, and we just didn't find out about it till the break. And chances are Ron Howard's probably been on the set and stuff a lot longer than we thought, too.
That's true. They're able to control what is disseminated within the media. So most likely everything that we're seeing now, and that's why people are like, why did this happen so fast? It's probably because this already happened weeks before.
No, it's just because their publicists made sure that everything happened like dominoes, unlike other companies we've talked about in the past. But anyway, anybody else who wants to take over on that, go ahead.
You said that we're gonna see like it's gonna be two different tones. Remember how like Stripes felt like two different movies? You had the first half, which was the training camp segment, and then you had the second half, which was they went and they saved all their buddies, their entire unit, and it feels like two movies slapped together. With
Full
like
Metal
no
Jacket's
transition.
the same way, yeah.
Yeah. So this is probably going to be the Stripes of the Star Wars universe. I think it's going to do. Well, it's Star Wars. People are going to go see it anyway.
Right, it's going to do okay, but I think critically it's going to get destroyed. I think the fans are going to hate it, and you're going to have not just the ones that are like all EU fans who just hate on everything Disney does, but I mean just flat out regular old general audience and fans are just going to be like, what the shit is this? You know, I have a feeling this is going to be their biggest snafu. Beyond's right. This is going to be a disaster. It's going to be a huge mess, and I don't know if they're going to be able to salvage it. I'm thinking this might even be a bigger mess than what Justice League turns out to be.
Yeah, Justice League to me still has a chance that it may. Justice League is either going to be completely, like almost not complete, it can't be completely redone. It's too late at this point. Too expensive. But Han Solo,
say, well, Joss Whedon. Not to interrupt you, Beyond, but I say, and this is one thing I stand by. Joss Whedon has been dealing with that film a hell of a lot longer than anybody wants to admit. I think he's been there since almost day one. Zack Snyder didn't do much on this movie, I don't think.
Actually,
but anyway,
I disagree. If you look at the trailers, it's a Snyder film.
Or if
That's
he did, well,
film.
yeah, the first part, yeah, but I have a feeling they're losing a lot of what he did. Whatever he filmed from November to say March or whatever it was
that
when his
true,
kid
though. They are
committed suicide.
revamping this.
I think a lot of that's getting trashed, and they've been filming with Joss Whedon since then. I guarantee it. And he was on set before his daughter committed suicide, so I think that they were already kind of making Joss kind of hold his hand through this process. Not to take us off track, but yeah. Anyway, go back to what you were saying, Beyond.
No, that's pretty much it. Like I said, I think he came on maybe late March, April, around there.
Well, no, I think they actually verified that he's been on board with the DCEU in the background since at least back in November or December when the filming started. But that's where I said I think he was kind of holding his hand. And then when this tragedy happened, I think ever since then, I think Zack Snyder hasn't been on set since March. I really don't.
I will say this.
Here and there, but not like he was.
Right. I'll reiterate. I'll say this. I think Zack Snyder, it was a Snyder film. You can tell by the trailer. It's a total Snyder fest of a film, okay? DC Snyder fest. But I do say this. I think a couple months prior, like kind of when around the time the suicide happened and whatever, and unfortunately, I think that's when Joss stepped in. Because, you know, the studio, I said this before previously in other podcasts. I think the studio was like, they took advantage of a bad situation. They didn't exploit it, but they just said, you know what?
Right.
Maybe this is the best time that Snyder just leaves and just be with his family, and then we can see if we can try to fix this crap. Because it's not turning out the way we want it to.
Well, and I think Rob and I talked about this in one of the earlier podcasts where the report coming out is that the trailer we're going to see at San Diego Comic-Con is going to be very Joss Whedon-esque from what we've been hearing.
You know, I'm kind of in the, I don't think the DC movies are going to very much, as long as Warner Brothers keeps Christopher Nolan in the background. And they keep going to. I don't know if they're still doing.
I really don't know how much he has to do with anything anymore. Because I thought after Man of Steel, he kind of stepped aside, even though he still gets credit. It's just like he gets just so they can slap his name on there. But anyway, sorry.
Oh no problem. I'm actually glad you interjected with that because you know I do know they a lot of like the non-joking policies were stuff they consulted him on. I just imagine him like behind the director's chair talking like Batman, like no jokes. There can be no jokes.
That's too funny. Don't do that.
So he's like, Christopher Nolan is the Dick Cheney of the DCU.
Pretty much like he's the one grittier. He needs to be grittier.
We got to be more up to date. He'd be the Bannon.
Wah, no jokes. I'm
not wearing hockey pads.
I'm wearing Depends.
All right. Well, I don't have anything else to say about that.
So I guess that'll perfect segue since we're talking about Comic-Con then. I know, Rob, you had brought up some news to me about Comic-Con.
Yeah, Marvel actually has a 90-minute panel planned for this year's Comic-Con. It's going to be happening in Hall H on July 22nd. 90 minutes. It's going to be 5:30 to 7 p.m. It doesn't say whether or not it's going to be live streamed, but knowing Marvel probably is not.
Marvel Studios, correct?
Marvel Studios, yeah. Yeah,
so that means we're probably going to get about information about 3 movies, and they're going to spend about 30 minutes each. I'm betting it's going to be... Well, actually, we'll probably get a bunch of shit from... I bet it'll be mostly Black Panther and Avengers, and then a little bit a tease of Ant-Man and Wasp, I bet. That's my guess.
Yeah. Probably. Captain Marvel, I don't think it's too far out from that.
Not yet.
Yeah. Next year at Comic-Con, they're going to...
They might mention it. They might show us some... photos, but I bet you if all the footage we're going to get is from the 3 I mentioned. But yeah, go ahead, guys. What do you think about that?
I think they'll probably trot out Brie Larson just to say, oh, hey, how you doing? Everything's going great,
Yeah.
Is it too much to hope to announce a Nova movie, or do you think they're going to save that for a Phase 4 announcement? Probably.
Oh, I gotta go with Neil on this too. I forgot. They probably will, since it is enough ahead of time. They probably excuse me. That's all, folks. We will get a full Thor trailer, I bet, too.
Oh, yeah. I know someone in the chat. I'm just going to shout that person out. It's Neil, again. He mentioned that as well, too. And I agree. Yeah, definitely, because Thor is just around the corner. Of course, they're going to...
Right, we'll get a big trailer for Thor, for sure. But I bet you as far as, like, the deep cuts, we're going to get a lot of... I bet we're going to get a lot of juicy stuff on Black Panther, some Avengers, and for sure Ant-Man and Wasp.
Yeah, I get a feeling they're going to show some not some Ant-Man. They're going to probably show some Black Panther footage. They're not going to be a trailer, but they're probably going to have like 4 or 5 minutes of footage.
It'll be some Comic-Con only footage, yeah.
Yeah, kind of like the Tony Stark and Chris Evans chopping wood scene. They'll probably do something like that.
Something to that respect, I can agree with you on that one, Rob.
It'll just be them making pancakes this time in a kitchen.
Yeah. It'll be all nice and fluffy, and everyone's all good, nice to each other, and everything's all sparkly, and everyone's getting along and everything. A perfect juxtaposition to what Civil War was, a total bloodbath.
His new shield for his birthday.
One thing I'll mention to you guys real quick before we segue to the final topic is... What do you guys think? I heard Kevin Feige was saying something about Civil War 2. He wanted to introduce that. And
Civil War 2.
I could have sworn
that's the first I've heard about that. And last I heard was the newest thing they were doing close to that would have been Avengers, the Infinity War 2, which would finish off between that and Spider-Man. We're going to be Spider-Man, the sequel. I think is supposed to be the last of the 22 film.
Okay. Well, I'll say this. I don't know where I heard that from, but I'll say this. I'm sorry to interrupt, but if they do a Civil War 2, it would be really great if they can really up the ante of make the first one look for Civil War look like Child's Play, and make Civil War be one where basically like a couple Avengers die. You know what I mean? I think
we're going to lose a lot of them in the Infinity Wars. I think that's kind of the way it's looking.
I think we're going to lose at least 3 Avengers in Infinity War alone.
The big 3 we're going to lose. Because the way Robert Downey Jr. has been talking, the way Chris Evans has been acting with the jokes and stuff, and I think we're going to for sure... Robert Downey Jr. and Captain America and Chris Evans are gone after the Infinity Wars, I bet. And then it's very possible we'll probably lose at least Hawkeye or... there's a good possibility Black Widow, but I see her surviving for some reason.
Girl power, that's why.
Yeah, because I have a feeling they're kind of keeping her open for a future film. But other than that,
all the dudes stay dead.
I don't see Hulk dying. No. Thor, obviously, I don't see dying.
I mean, if they were going to kill Thor, Ragnarok is the movie to do it. It literally means Thor dies.
But I was going to say, I'm pretty sure he's in Infinity Wars, is he not?
Oh, yeah, he's been in Infinity Wars. He's going to be alive. But I think it will be interesting. It would be interesting if he dies in Ragnarok, but then gets resurrected. That type of thing.
Right.
Maybe Thanos will turn him into a frog.
A frog.
Jake had a great point one time. If the movies were exactly like the comics, then Thor would be a woman, a frog, and he would die every 3 years.
Yeah, something like that. Something to that effect. But anyway, guys, so let's see if we can segue ourselves into the last topic. I don't know who brought this up, the whole Squirrel Girl thing. Who did that first?
Well, I think it was Rob.
Okay, Rob brought it
Yeah.
up.
There's more to that than just Squirrel Girl, but go ahead.
Yes, so
Well,
we'll talk about
yeah.
Squirrel Girl, and then you can tell us a little bit about that, and then segue into what this means, what it entails.
This has always been kind of on Marvel's back burner. It's been people have been talking about it as a movie at times. There's been a lot of names floated around. Anna Kendrick was saying that she wanted to play Squirrel Girl, but actually, Marvel's New Warriors series has been cast. It's going to be a series. It's going to be on Freeform, which is a Disney channel, and we have a Squirrel Girl, and her name is Milana Vaintrub.
Oh, yes.
Now, if you don't recognize that name,
That's the
she's been-
AT&T girl, right?
it's the AT&T girl. Yes, it is.
Thank God they didn't get Flo.
Good old Flo. What happened to Flo? Okay,
She's still around.
commercials. Yeah, she still makes good commercials actually. But
Yeah, she's
Chloe's,
funny, but yeah.
Chloe's name is actually Stephanie Courtney. She's been a
Yeah.
stand-up comic for years, but
Yeah.
she worked. Yeah, but anyway, we digress. She
She was also in Mad Men and a few other things too. As small.
This
bit
Is Us is another one of her credits,
Right.
and I gotta say, and we've seen a couple of pictures of her, and I gotta say, in the words of Johnny Bravo, "Oh, mama."
Oh,
It's
yes, I agree with that. If you allow me to
Giggity.
interject, sir, I would like to say this. What's her name again? Milani.
Milana Vaintrub.
Milani Vaintra. I was looking her up. You know what I'm saying? I think she's from the Middle East or something like that.
She's Russian. Actually.
Russian. Oh, okay, she's Russian. I thought she was from somewhere. She looked like she was abroad, but I gotta say,
She's abroad.
oh yes, she certainly is, gentlemen.
Ooh.
She certainly is. I mean, I know someone say, why are you talking about her being pretty? I'm like, because she is. I mean, she's like.
Because I'm a
fine. Like she
because
is.
I have testicles and a penis. That's why I'm like I'm sorry.
This isn't a biology class, Rob. Please contain yourself. But
It's
No, it
okay.
is.
It's late. We're allowed.
Can biology with Rob be a segment now?
Yes.
biology speech with Rob, your host Rob today. You'd be like the Bill Nye science guy of giggity giggity. Okay. Anyway.
What is the colon? So,
Oh yeah. But no. Yeah. She. I mean. I will admit, I think she's pretty good casting. I probably would have ended up going with Anna Kendrick because I feel like Anna Kendrick has that nerdy girl factor to her, if that makes sense. Kind of the.
Let's get that picture
zany-
up there.
Of what?
Do you have the
There's-
pictures of her?
Of
yeah,
her,
Anna
the
Kendrick.
nerd-
There's a picture of her with holding a couple squirrels.
There
I
she
don't know.
is right there. That's
Photoshops.
the article from Hollywood Reporter. There she is right there.
So let's get this fine.
There's actually there's actually more casting news associated with this, but really, who cares?
Let me butcher this way. Let me butcher inside. There she is. That's what she looks like, ladies and gentlemen. The AT&T girl, aka now the Squirrel Girl for this this whole new series. What's it called? The new whatever. What's it called?
New Warriors.
New Warriors. That's it. The New Warriors. So that should be pretty cool. I think that's gonna come out. Well, at least I think it should be okay. I think it should be pretty good.
Shut up and take my money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
it's
it's
Shut up
good.
and take my money.
I'm definitely gonna tune in. I'll say that. I'll definitely tune in to watch it. I'm gonna be like, yeah, Squirrel Girl. I mean, what more can you say?
I don't care. Just shut up and take my money.
Shut up
For-
and
for-
take my money.
For those,
the TV show continues on Marvel's tradition of having her just off-screen defeat people she shouldn't be able to.
hey guys, I just defeated the Kingpin. Oh, you did? When? Oh, it was just a couple minutes ago. You totally missed it.
You totally missed it happening. It was amazing. It was like,
Get Kingpin. It's like Galactus. I just beat Galactus.
I don't think it's humanly possible for anyone to defeat the Galactus.
Ego. I did that.
Yeah.
She beat Thanos.
She got all the gems. She has all the gems. She has the Infinity Stones. She has the Infinity Gauntlet and all that. She's gonna rule over the universe. That's one thing that's funny. It'll be hilarious if you see Infinity War and then you're thinking to yourself, like, what if somebody that was such a B-grade superhero or B-grade villain got their hands on the Infinity Gauntlet at the final segment of the movie? Like, you think, who's gonna get the gauntlet? Who's gonna finally get it? Like, they're all struggling for it, and then that one guy just comes out.
It's like Moon Knight has it now.
What?
Like,
Moon Knight ends up with it.
I'm thinking Puck from Alpha Flight.
What would be fucking awesome is if it was fucking Deadpool.
Oh yeah.
If they've actually managed to pull that shit off and Reynolds shows up, that'd be fucking
Or even
sweet.
better yet, have it be Stan Lee. That would totally, that would change.
What am I supposed to do with this, true believer?
Yeah, that's something though. That's something. That would be hilarious though. Like if Stan Lee just stepped in and he had the gauntlet, and that just changed your perception of the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. Stan Lee was behind it the entire time. All his cameos was really him monitoring, making sure everything went together as planned. And now he
Excelsior!
Excelsior!
He just steals it from the back, and he and Samwise bring it to the fiery crater from whence it came.
Oh yeah.
And Amy Pascal just tries to grab at it. Yeah.
Amy Pascal, no, I want the precious.
Well, what happens to like Amy Pascal? It would be interesting if it happened to Amy Pascal, like she just like inexplicably fell into like a black hole and never returned or something like that. That'd be pretty great. No, I don't wish anything bad to happen to Amy.
Well,
Pascal,
hopefully after 2019, and then hopefully after the Barbie movie, we'll see that happen.
Oh.
But anyway, I guess one more thing I wanted to touch on before we get going, because I know Beyond had to get going here. How do you guys feel about the whole timeline fuck up in Spider-Man Homecoming? I know this has been a big topic online.
Don't care.
I actually, what's the? I haven't heard this before.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to explain it well. Do you understand a little bit better than I do, Rob? Probably. Or?
Yeah, there's they show Michael Keaton, Adrian Toomes. First, okay, for those who haven't seen Spider-Man Homecoming yet, this is going to be a spoiler portion. So if you don't want to know, tune out or lower the volume until we say it's safe. So okay, throw a spoiler tag up there right now. And
want me to put up a spoiler tag? I can throw that up there real quick if you want me to, Rob.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, please.
Okay, give me 1 second. Let me work my magic. There you go.
Okay.
Spoiler alert right there in the middle.
Okay, so what happens is, for those who are still listening, what happens is we see Michael Keaton as Adrian Toomes and his crew are cleaning out Grand Central Station, and they are taking away the salvage from the Chitauri, and then Anne-Marie Hogue from Damage Control comes and relieves them, and so they pack up and they go away and they steal a bunch of salvage, and then we cut to a title card that says 8 years later, and it's Peter Parker keeping a travel log of his journey to Germany to fight in the big Civil War battle,
which would put this movie in 2020.
Yeah, that's what I was saying before, because I calculated. I'm like, wait a minute, 8 years later, that means Spider-Man: Homecoming takes place in 2000, like you said, 2020. I was like, why is that? Because you would think it would take place in 2017, which is usually how everyone takes place. It always takes place in the year in which the movie comes out.
Close. Some of them don't, but anyway, go ahead, Rob. Sorry.
Yeah. So, but that's pretty much it. Yeah. So it takes place supposedly, that would put the time frame in 2020, and people have been saying, pardon me, that it's it's an inconsistency, and I've been saying, listen, instead of coming up with fan theories as to why this is, just go with it. It doesn't really make a difference at this
point. Do you guys have
point.
any theories on it? I'm perplexed.
Well, I think they said that
they screwed up. That's the theory.
Well, I'm trying to figure out where I must have missed it somewhere to where it actually says what year Civil War takes place.
Yeah, well, Civil War,
because that's what it's supposed to be. Because everybody's saying that Civil War was supposed to be taking place in 2016.
No way, that wouldn't make any sense, because how can it go from Civil War to Spider-Man: Homecoming?
That's the big plot hole. That's the big problem, and that's what I'm trying to figure out. I mean, I think it has something to do with the video of. If somebody knows this out there in the chat, please let us know, because I think it has something to do, because I've only watched Civil War a couple times. I think it has something to do with the video with Winter Soldier killing his parents, the year that takes place, and the year that all the Iron Man films takes place, comparison to the year that Avengers takes place, and so on. Because they already retconned once that Iron Man and Iron Man 2 supposedly take place only a couple months apart in 2010. And then, go ahead.
So I was going to say, so I have a fan theory of why this may take place in 2020. I think it's Marvel skipping ahead to when they have the full rights to this character, because Sony fucked it up by putting in a female Venom.
Yep. I think you got that one great, Jake. I think
No, I guess
We have a winner.
I guess it all boils down to when Civil War actually takes place, because I'm trying to remember that there's any real... other than that, I can't think of anything where it might actually place it in any kind of time. Because I know that it says certain amounts of years in the beginning of the film, like it says so many years later and stuff like that. So it's been a while, like I said, so I'd have to actually go back and watch it. Other than that, we know the Guardians of the Galaxy's films take place in 2014, and the first Avengers film was supposed to take place in 2012. That's all I know otherwise.
Well, yeah. Well, there's a great way Marvel does this in the comics of dealing with the discrepancy in time and how time passes. They say, "Well, when did this happen? Oh, a couple of years ago. When did this happen? Oh, a couple of years ago. When did that happen? A couple of years ago." And there's only like one fixed point in time. It's when it's World War II, when Captain America was in World War II, when he served in World War II, and that just keeps getting longer. The amount of time he spends on ice just keeps getting longer. So they're probably going to do the same with this. So
I'm sure Kevin Feige will probably come out and say something about it. Or I don't know if he has already, but
Yeah.
Anyway, I just wanted to kind of get you guys' thoughts, because I know that's one thing that the internet's been a little bit of buzz about, because that's really the only flaw that anybody's really kind of been able to find with Homecoming to this point, outside of just nitpicky bullshit. So,
hey, I reserve the right to complain about nitpicky bullshit.
no, I mean just like
That's my specialty.
we're talking like people who are like complain. There's been some. I'm not even
Yeah,
gonna get into.
I know.
It's some other odd stuff that it's like, okay, why can't you just be happy that we've got the first Spider-Man on screen that is not only a good Peter Parker, but a good Spider-Man, and he actually has a story that's very Spider-Man-ish, and it's not the Amazing Spider-Man. So, I mean, why can't we just be happy about that for now, and that he's in the MCU? That's the biggest thing, you know?
I think I'm hearing somebody from the chat. It's Matt Weiss.
Yep, our correspondent Matt Weiss, who does the Matt Weiss, yes, does the trailer breakdown for us.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, sweet, because I saw right here he was saying Avi Arad makes an indirect Amy Pascal reference in the character She-Venom. Did you guys see that comment?
Oh, that's true. That's very true.
How apropos.
Oh,
And I don't get to use that word very often.
What are you gonna?
Yeah, we hope to have Matt on here sometime soon, but I know you got to get going here, Beyond. But is there anything else that anybody wanted to cover before we wrap things up here?
Pretty much covered up everything pretty well, guys. I mean, for a first-time run, second-time run, a little bit discombobulated, but I think we're pretty good for what we had. So I'm satisfied.
So yeah, we got another show planned for the same time, well, close to the same time, 8 p.m. Central on Thursday. Hope you guys can join us then. Thanks for joining us tonight, Jake. It was nice to have a new voice on the podcast.
Same here. Thanks for having me, guys.
Sorry we kind of rushed through things. We were supposed to have a little bit more time, but we started off with some technical difficulties. I apologize to the audience for that. Thanks again for joining us, of course, Rob.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
And Beyond a Blizz, as usual, thank you for being here, of course.
I am ecstatic to be here, gentlemen. It was a great time.
And I'd like to thank everybody for joining us on the Film Buffet Podcast. I'm Tom, and of course, our information is going to be posted down below for your Twitter and YouTube needs. Thanks again for joining us.
All right, guys. We'll catch you later. And thanks for joining us on the Film Buffet Podcast.
Woot.
Woot. I'm Batman.
Press a
I
Spider-Man.
wear hockey pants. We'll meet again, Spider-Man!
We're like you and I, Spider-Man. At least Michael Keaton did say that.
Yeah, Michael Keaton was a good Venom. I mean,
Okay, Beyond, go home. You're drunk.
yeah, that's enough for today. All right, I'm gonna cut this off right now. I'm cutting this off right now.
Goodbye,
Okay.
guys.